Hi, Krishna.
Hello, Anupama. Hi. Hi. So
Hi.
nice. Good that we joined at a correct time. Fine. So yeah. Yes, we'll start. And let me just take out the questions. Okay.
Sure.
Before that, I'll just tell you, right? This session will have. There's no time limitation and all. So what
Okay.
we'll do is first we'll get to know about introduction, and then we come to questions. Okay. So fine. We have good number of people over here. I think
Yeah.
9 is fine for us. It's all the thing that works. Fine. So Anupma, tell me about yourself. So your background and all, your studies, and how did you get into this, your psychologist career?
Okay. That's very interesting. I feel like sitting in interview once again.
No, sorry.
but but
It's
yeah.
not easy.
So
Yeah.
basically,
Yes, yes.
yeah. So basically, I started my career in applied psychology a few years back, and then I got interested a little bit more. So I did my PG diploma in clinical counseling, and later on, I followed my passion and worked with multiple fields of psychology. Basically, I was more of a hands-on experience person than just going by, the therapies or just that. And later on, according to my experience, I gained some of the certifications. I am also practicing CBT, that's cognitive behavioral therapy. So that's been very rewarding journey. So I think initially I was very inclined towards working with people. So I knew I have to choose a career where I can connect with people and I can understand and maybe contribute right while working. So one thing led to another, and I ended up in psychology college. So,
Okay. So any real life, incidents that happened that actually provoke the inner, psychologist in you that, I should be, helping out people. Some stories there, is it?
there are many actually. So it's
Okay.
like I've been observing people for a long time, and I just it's very fascinating to me how human mind works. How
Okay.
emotions work, and I have been following a lot of speakers, world class leaders. I think since my college days, so when I was in graduation, I used to hear a lot of Robin Sharma and
Okay.
whatnot. So I used to just imagine that, if people have that capacity of making an impact on human life, right, just by words. So they are just speaking and they're influencing you your whole life probably. So that made me very interested. And my father has been the greatest influence on my life. So I
Mhm.
have seen him have like tremendous willpower. He's one man I've seen laughing and cracking joke in ICUs and saying, hey, you know what, this is life.
Okay.
Here are how it works, and let's get in. Show must go on. He's been that kind of a person always. So I think that had a great impact on me. That while everybody else is sobbing and crying and saying that why God has done this to me, he's always been that person who said it's okay. This is what it is. Let's carry on. And I still remember he always celebrated his anniversary of the day when he got paralyzed. So
Oh,
he had a minor brain stroke, and every year on that same day, he used to call me and he would get a pastry or something special for himself, and I used to ask him, why do you do that, right? It's not a great thing to remember. It had almost ruined your life. So he said, I'm grateful that I'm still alive despite whatever has happened, and life has actually given me one more opportunity to look at it with a different perspective, to learn differently, and maybe learn again. Because when he was paralyzed, he actually had to, go through a lot of physical therapy and then learn
okay.
each and every things from the beginning, from the scratch. So I think that had a great influence on me.
Oh, so that's a great positivity. Positivity. Nice, nice. So, I would just tell, like I just mentioned here, that that's not just, I take care of physical health mostly, but
Yeah.
Vedic lifestyle is not just about physical health, it's about mental health as well, through meditation and all.
Okay.
But saying that mental health, I mean, if that is not taken care well, right? So your physical health doesn't fall into place. So that's why I also lay importance on the physical health, which includes all sleep, having good sleep pattern, doing meditation, all. But
Yeah.
nowadays, things have changed. Going to industrial period, right? So people are facing, far worse issues. So that is where psychologists come into picture. Okay, where people actually can express themselves, right? And there are a lot of things, a lot of parameters that you take care of. So that is what we are going to talk about. So topic is today overthinking and depression, right? So as you see, this competitive exams and all and job scenarios, they are putting a lot of pressure. And then there are families and pressure of loans and EMIs. So there's a lot of overthinking that comes on people, and a lot of burden. So they also, like, people are facing loneliness. So they want someone to talk to, right? And where they can express themselves. And how do people actually figure out that are they actually kind of getting to depression, or what is it? So do they need to seek meditation? So that is what we are going to talk in this session. Okay, so we'll just start talking on the 7 questions. The first question being, is overthinking normal?
Okay,
Yes.
so the answer lies in the question itself, Prashant. Over of anything isn't good, right?
Okay.
It happens to all of us. It's a natural phenomena that, from time to time we'll sit with ourselves, we will analyze things. And now how much of that analysis goes to overthinking is what we have to see. So when we say overthinking, there's no clinical term which is defined as,
Okay.
overthinking in psychology as such. Overthinking is basically just a process where you are overdoing something you don't need to, right? So you're sitting with, let's say, a puzzle, right? And instead of taking an action of solving it, you are just looking at the pieces and constantly, trying to figure it out. But you're not putting any piece in place, right? So that is your thinking is not getting converted in any productive way, right? It's not giving you any results. And it might also lead you to some negative emotions or unrealistic scenarios. So that is overthinking basically, which, like you mentioned, a lot of youngsters or a lot of people have these days, right? And reason being, we have so much to influence, right?
Yes.
Every day you open your Instagram, there are like some thousand reels saying that this is right, this is wrong. And especially in psychology, it's fascinating how people are just putting anything out there, saying these are the red flags. And if you constantly feed your mind with that, you are bound to think about it because that's what
Okay.
all you're seeing in your environment, right? If I tell you that, Prashant, there are 10 signs you must look around you, I am
Mm-hmm.
telling you today, within before the day ends, you will find 8 signs in some of your closest friends, and you'll come back and say, you know what? So, and that's okay, right? It's okay to analyze, but you need to know that we all work on, if I quote Charles Darwin, individual theory, right? We all are born different. We all are acting different. Just because somebody is telling you that, this is right and this is wrong, doesn't mean it is like that,
Okay.
right? So, for example, let's say a lot of people are in relationships these days. Is my
Okay.
voice okay? Right. So, let's say, for instance, relationships. Right now, a lot of Instagram reels or Instagram information or internet information, for that matter, says that your partner should be great communicator. If they are not
Okay.
telling you 10,000 times a day that they love you, they don't love you actually. Right? It's a red flag. But is it? Like, there are individual personalities. Maybe a person is not as comfortable saying it out loud, but if their actions are supportive, right? In the decade when our parents got married, it was not very common to showcase love very openly, right? It was not very open in houses that people are saying I love you every day and hugging each other, and it was not very common, right? This is a
Mm-hmm.
Western concept which has come up, and now we are trying to make it a standard ki, oh, this should happen. Otherwise, my partner is not loving to me. If he's not giving me materialistic gifts, if he's not texting me 10,000 times a day, then
Okay.
it's
Okay.
not the case, right? A person may have different ways of expression. So that is where overthinking comes, right? I heard this. Does that stand true for me, right? So we
Okay.
keep on channelizing those thoughts, and it's not good for ourselves. We need to understand ourselves, and that's when holistic health comes in picture. Like you said, right? Sleep is important. Your regulation of thought is important, wherein we can use multiple tools, whether it's meditation, mindfulness, or whatever, right? So that way it's not normal, but you need to
Okay.
keep a check on your own self to find out, okay, this is the bar where I'm overthinking.
Okay, nice, nice, nice. That's quite a revelation, right? Especially that thing where you said like कि आजकल के youngsters more see like कि text क्यों नहीं हो रहा है बार बार, and you're okay with Hindi, right? That's okay.
Yeah, of
Okay.
course, of course.
Okay. That's also actually I've realized people saying someone talking Hindi, right? That's quite captive. Okay.
Yeah.
People, Okay. Can we actually do one thing? Next question, Hindi बोल सकते हैं? Is it okay for you?
बिल्कुल, बेशक.
Okay. So yeah, coming to the point you said, right, कि लोग की डिमांड रहती है कि कंटिन्यूअसली थिंकिंग है, अरे मैसेज क्यों नहीं आया सामने वाले का, एंड देन देयर इज ओवर थिंकिंग, लॉट ऑफ ओवर थिंकिंग इन्वॉल्व. बट इवेंचुअली व्हाट हैपेंस लाइक मैसेज आ जाता है, देन दैट ओवर थिंकिंग पीरियड लाइक इट्स जस्ट वैनिशेस लाइक एनीथिंग, और कोई फायदा नहीं है, यू आर जस्ट ruining yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's a quite a good revelation. It just came through, and we'll move to next question. Okay. So what do you think? Why today's generation is diving into overthinking and depression? Like, can you put some points here? Ki, not just the relationship part. There are other things. There are other places also. और why is it so like, अच्छा, let's come into हिंदी. ऐसा क्यों होता था कि पहले इतना, क्या ऐसा पहले होता था कि ओवरथिंकिंग होती थी और अब नहीं हो रही उतनी, या फिर अभी ज्यादा हो रही है और ज्यादा समय के साथ बढ़ती जाएगी ओवरथिंकिंग? सो इज देयर सम पैटर्न वी आर सीइंग?
ऑफ कोर्स, देखिए पैटर्न बहुत सिंपल है. अगर हम इसको कंपैरेटिव स्टडी में देखने की कोशिश करेंगे, सो लाइक अ डेकेड अगो व्हेन वी वर इन स्कूल, है ना, तब हमारे पास नॉलेज के रिसोर्सेज, किसी भी चीज को गैदर करने के लिए रिसोर्सेज लिमिटेड थे, राइट? अगर आपको कुछ जानना है तो आप एनसाइक्लोपीडिया खरीदवाएंगे घर वालों से, आप मम्मी से बोलेंगे मुझे लाइब्रेरी छोड़ने चलो, राइट? यू विल आस्क क्वेश्चंस टू योर टीचर्स, यू लीड देयर हेड. दैट्स हाउ वी वर लर्निंग, राइट? हम अनफोल्ड कर रहे थे अपने लाइफ के पेजेस को. अब हमारे पास सब कुछ एट अ फिंगर टिप है. If I want to learn something, I'll just go put a question on Quora and I'll wait for somebody to answer, or I will just see, people कि हाँ ठीक है, आप मुझे बता दो, आप मुझे बता दो, कहीं ना कहीं से. So that is also overflow of information, है ना?
Okay.
तो पहले like suppose in one generation हर घर से एक बेटा फौज में जाता था, right?
Okay.
People used to write letters to get information. तो आपको पता
Yes.
है कि एक हफ्ते के पहले, 10 दिन के पहले आपको खबर नहीं मिलेगी, right? You have to wait and see कि ठीक है, you can only pray for those people, you can only do certain things. So there was acceptance कि मुझे पता है कि अगर आज मैंने प्रशांत को चिट्ठी लिखी है तो प्रशांत को चिट्ठी मिलने में 3 दिन लगेंगे, वो पढ़ेंगे, फिर वो मुझे चिट्ठी भेजेंगे, फिर वो डिकोड होगी, and that's how it is, right? So I had my peace with that. अब क्योंकि मुझे पता है कि आपके हाथ में दिन में 24 में से 18 घंटे फोन रहने वाला है, so I've lost that acceptance, I've lost that patience कि ठीक है, हो सकता है प्रशांत अपने लाइफ में कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट कर रहे हो, वो पढ़ रहे हो, वो बैठे हो, वो किसी से बात कर रहे हो. इज इट इम्पोर्टेंट कि आप मुझे आज ही और अभी ही रिस्पॉन्ड करें, राइट? ऑल्सो द पार्ट ऑफ ओवर इंफॉर्मेशन कि नाउ देयर आर 10,000 थिंग्स. तो लोगों ने क्या करना शुरू किया है, एनालाइज करने की बजाय वो तुरंत एक्सेप्ट कर लेते हैं, राइट?
Okay.
हम अपने लिए अपनी चीजें बनाना समझना छोड़ चुके हैं. वी हैव लॉस्ट इंडिविजुअलिटी क्योंकि हम ट्रेंड फॉलो करना चाहते हैं. वी आर नॉट ट्रेंड सेटर्स एनीमोर. वी आर ट्राइंग टू बी फॉलोअर्स कि oh you know what, I want to wear that kind of dress, I want to do that kind of makeup. You don't have your individuality anymore, right? क्योंकि इंडिविजुअलिटी को डेवलप करने के लिए टाइम, पेशेंस और इन्वेस्टमेंट लगता है. एंड इन्वेस्टमेंट इन ऑल वेज. आप सिर्फ ये सोच के कि मैं 18 घंटे हार्ड वर्क करूंगा एंड आई विल गेट दिस काइंड ऑफ वर्क डन, तो ऐसा नहीं होगा, राइट? बिकॉज यू हैव नीड्स. हमारा बेसिक अभी, इफ यू माइट हैव सीन, लॉट ऑफ पीपल दीज डेज सपोर्ट इन बीइंग इंडिपेंडेंट. इंडिपेंडेंस का कॉन्सेप्ट इतना आगे आ गया है कि लोगों को लगता है कि अरे हमें किसी की जरूरत ही नहीं है. व्हाई डू वी नीड पीपल? यू नो, इफ आई कॉल समबडी आई लुक लाइक वीक. Initially you said we need to express to people, we need to connect, but how many people are okay being vulnerable? कितने लोगों को ये चीज है कि वो अपने फ्रेंड्स को कॉल करके बोल सकते हैं कि यार आज दिन बहुत खराब जा रहा है, आज कुछ सही नहीं चल रहा है. नहीं हो रहा है. इंस्टाग्राम पे कितने लोग पोस्ट करते हैं अपनी सैड स्टोरी कि यार मेरा हफ्ता बहुत खराब गया है, इट्स नॉट अ गुड टाइम. एवरीबडी इज पोस्टिंग अ स्माइलिंग पिक्चर ओनली, राइट? क्योंकि हमने वो इम्पोज किया है. We have imposed that. So the quality of relations has also deteriorated.
Okay.
राइट? क्योंकि अब हम उन लोगों के आसपास नहीं रहना चाहते हैं हुआ नेगेटिव या जो कॉन्स्टेंटली इस तरीके की बातें करते हैं कि यार ये सही नहीं चल रहा. हमको लगता है कि दिल फुलिश बैक, है ना? इट इज नॉट ट्रू. ऐसा कभी नहीं होगा कि कोई आपको नीचे गिराएगा. द ओनली थिंग यू कैन डू इज बी देयर.
Okay.
Right? You have your own life sorted, and then whatever happens around you is not yours to be controlled. आपको नहीं जरूरत अपने फ्रेंड को 10,000 इंस्टाग्राम मोटिवेशंस भेजने की, right?
Okay.
Until and unless you know that it is relevant to them.
Okay.
So does that make sense that how it is different now? कि पहले problems
Yes.
होती थी तो we had huge families, we had family friends who were very close. So like when I was choosing a career, I'll tell you honestly, my father made me meet people. कि जाके लोगों से मिलो और समझो कि एक्चुअल में करियर में होने क्या वाला है. Don't decide
Okay.
your career basis courses. कि आपके कोर्स में ऐसा दिख आपको जो पढ़ना है वो पढ़ के आप छोड़ दोगे वहीं पे. एक्चुअल में तो you have to go and perform it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So are you going to be content with that? ऐसा तो नहीं होगा कि कल को पेशेंट्स देखने के बाद हमें बेहोशी खाने लग जाएगी कि अरे नहीं. That's not a right thing. Okay? So for that matter, अब ऐसा नहीं हो रहा है. अब uncle aunties don't have time now. Children don't go and visit and ask them कि oh wow you're a lawyer, tell me about it. Right? So that distance which has been created is the problem of 90% of mental health issues today.
Okay. I see.
So I guess yeah.
Future, right? So more and more information and impatience is going to come into picture, right? People are going to lose their mind, and more overthinking is going to come into picture. So yeah, जैसे you said, right, कि पहले letters होते थे तो there was acceptance, there was some patience involved over there. पर अभी क्या है कि the connecting people kind of slogan from Nokia, then nowadays 5G technology and all.
Yeah.
That's वो एक पॉजिटिव साइड है कि हाँ हम कनेक्ट कर पा रहे हैं, किसी का इन्फॉर्मेशन बहुत जल्दी ले पा रहे हैं, बट दैट हैज अ डाउन साइड टू, राइट? सो on mental level, so yes, every technology upgrade has a downgrade on the health side. So yeah, that's a good connection that you made over there. Fine, good that you moved to Hindi very well, and yeah, I think that viewers all connect कर पाए जो बीच में join कर रहे हैं. Fine, let's move to the next question. So what do you think happens to our body, okay, जब हम overthinking और depression में इस phase में रहते हैं, right? So suppose somebody is into that thing, okay, overthinking कर रहा है. So what do you think health wise and mental wise deterioration होता है, right? या फिर क्या फर्क पड़ता है? The first symptoms kind of thing, or one could analyze कि हाँ कुछ हो रहा है मेरी बॉडी के साथ, overthinking वजह से मेरी हेल्थ खराब हो रही है. So any observation in in your clients you would have seen so far, or all of those information you have already about it?
Of course. So it's pretty simple actually. You just need to keep in mind, जब आप सुबह उठते हैं, usually you should feel energized, right? In a healthy environment, you should feel energized. You should not feel lethargic. You should not feel fatigued, right? You should not have this thought that what am I getting up for? है ना, आज उठ के क्या करना है? इस तरीके के thoughts आ रहे हैं, that means there is some kind of blockage which has happened. Right? आप overthinking कर रहे हैं, आपके sleeping patterns में वो changes आ रहे हैं frequently, right? If you're sleeping more, if you're sleeping less. Or one very interesting fact I would like to share, because you are from the wellness school, right? A lot of people say you need 8 hours of sleep,
Okay.
right? That's not necessary. Individual difference. Every body is made differently, right? हो सकता है if I'm getting deep sleep for 4 hours, I'm able to function well, right? If you need 6 hours, that is your day-to-day life and your body requirements. So adjust and know it accordingly. You can never put it in a standard कि इतना ही sleep जरूरी है या इतने से ज़्यादा is a sign, right? You need to know yourself better. So before you can find out any signs and symptoms, you need to know individual differences, how genetic codes are affecting. See, if your family has a genetic code, it will affect your food, your culture, your environment. Everything is having an impact. Then how do you expect two people to function equally, right? ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है हमारे लिए, इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल, ठीक है. सो वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट फर्स्ट कि हमारा नॉर्मल फंक्शनिंग का स्टैंडर्ड क्या है, राइट, व्हाट डू वी कॉल एज नॉर्मल. On that basis, you need to understand the deviations happening. डेविएशन का ड्यूरेशन क्या है. अगर हम ओवर थिंकिंग की बात करें तो ऐसा हो सकता है कि एग्जाम्स के पहले, किसी बड़े इवेंट के पहले, किसी बड़े डिसीजन के पहले यू आर हैविंग अनकॉन्शियस थॉट्स चल रहे हैं दिमाग में और आप एक दो दिन ना सोए. दैट इज ओके, राइट, वो हो सकता है. इट्स वेरी नॉर्मल. खाने का मन ना करे या कुछ पर्टिकुलर ही खाने का मन करे. लॉट ऑफ पीपल हैव शुगर क्रेविंग्स कि किसी को लगता है मीठा खिलाना है आज, है ना, किसी को चाट पापड़ी खाना है. सो एवरीबडी हैज अ डिफरेंट वे, राइट. दैट इज ओके. So the time duration of how it is happening and how much frequently it is happening will actually determine whether you're falling into depressive mode. अगर it's a week, it's a 2 week progress, जो हमारा DSM-5 के हिसाब से psychologist refer, which is our Bible basically, right? So अगर for 2 periods, 2 weeks of time, constantly for most of the days you are having certain symptoms. Right, there are 9 symptoms. Out of them, अगर 4 or 5 symptoms आते हैं, so you are falling into the depressive category. But that has to be determined by a professional. You should not check yourself. Okay. So I think it's a very interesting thing I saw some days back. Health anxiety करके Abhishek Upmanyu has released one of his videos.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Wherein he's gone through the whole thing, and he's gone, and it's tremendous. Like a lot of people do that. राइट, दे वांट टू बी देयर ओन डॉक्टर्स की एक सिम्टम है. हमारे पास भी बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग आते हैं जो सेल्फ डायग्नोसिस करके आते हैं कि यू नो अनुपमा, आई एम इन अ डिप्रेशन एंड आई फील एंग्शियस ऑल द टाइम एंड दिस. नो, लेट मी डू माय जॉब, राइट. यू जस्ट टेल व्हाट्स हैपनिंग, राइट. देयर इज अ रीजन व्हाई वी आर द एक्सपर्ट्स, राइट. सो डोंट गो एंड गूगल ऑन इंटरनेट. If you are deviating for your healthy life for any reason, consult your family doctor first. Let them take a call because they know your history well, right? If they suggest that okay, you should see a therapist, you should see a psychologist, you need to go to psychiatry, all those are also different choices depending on your situation, right? So don't become your own doctors first of all. Right, let professionals be professionals, but yes, keep a check on yourself and your loved ones. Okay, it's very important. For a lot of mental health issues, we usually ask the patients and the clients that has anybody around you also observed the same thing, right?
Okay.
When we talk about especially depressive mode, there is one of the things which is written as a criteria, in fact, right, that has your friends or peers or any of your environment interaction observed this in you, right? तो क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोग जो डिप्रेशन में होते हैं वो डायरेक्टली खुद भी रियलाइज नहीं कर पाते हैं. तो हो सकता है कि आप जब किसी ऐसे मोड में हैं तब आपके आसपास के लोगों को पहले पता चल जाए.
Okay. Nice.
So you need to interact.
So right, the symptoms you talked about, right? Yeah. Symptoms plus कब consult करना चाहिए, last question पे आएंगे, right? थोड़ा और details जानेंगे इस पे. Fine. The good thing is, yeah, you talked about the symptoms and don't Google it. So those things were really good. And yes, जैसे बताया ना सुबह को उठ के, okay, the important things I could connect was कि कुछ पैरामीटर्स ऐसे लोग बोलते हैं ना ये कर लो, सब पे अप्लाइड होता है, बट एवरी पर्सन हैज हिज ओन द अपब्रिंगिंग. सो इन आयुर्वेदा वी कॉल इट लाइक प्रकृति विकृति. So prakriti is like how you were born in 9 months of birth, and then vikruti was like the environment you are getting upbrought, grow ho rahe ho. And there are a lot of parameters actually in Ayurveda we do take care of. There is not one parameter like modern medicine talks about ki nahi ye kar lo sab ke liye applied hai. So yeah, I could connect over there. So the way you told. So yes, there are a lot of parameters you actually need to listen to. कि क्लाइंट से कंटिन्यूअसली लाइक आई थिंक एक दिन का सेशन नहीं होता, काफी दिन का सेशन होता है, that you need to connect with the client, know their background. Yes,
decoding things, right? So if you come to me with a problem saying that मेरे कंप्यूटर में ये हो गया, so I'll have to go and do a background check first. ठीक है,
okay.
कहाँ से शुरुआत हुई होगी, because see, it's like when we talk about mental health, a lot of things might be need to be unfolded. हो सकता है बहुत
Okay.
डीप रूटेड हो, बहुत पुरानी हो, जो आपको अब ट्रिगर कर रही है, अब समझ में आ
Okay.
रही है, या कोई
Oh.
ऐसा इंसिडेंट अभी हुआ है which has actually made you think about it, right? So there is a history we take, right? So जब specially clinicians काम करते हैं, so they start with your birth history, like you mentioned, right? The process of being born, was it a normal delivery, operated, and how
Oh.
all, even that
Nice.
counts, right? Even that counts. And what was the environment, what kind of drugs were given, right? If you have been taking medications, you have
Mhm.
been off medication, all of that is really important, right? So one session is just to know, okay, to establish what is that we are going to focus upon. What's your concern right now? But if you see the Western culture, I tell you, people go for therapies all their life also. They go for therapies for
Okay.
years. And that's absolutely fine, right? We say you should schedule your dental, appointments every frequently. You will not know that minute thing happening on your teeth, right? Until it becomes a huge cavity and it starts hurting. Same is with your mental health,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So in school, you might have gone through certain things. In college, in challenges of life, in phases of life, you might have gone through a lot of things, right? But क्योंकि हमारी आदत ऐसी होती है ना, चल यार मिट्टी का है ना, हो गया, तो that has gone, so let it be. But it might come back to you at any point in time, and it
Mhm.
might get worse, right? So you
Nice.
need to frequently. I'm not saying you have to have a problem to consult a specialist.
Mhm.
Why not just go and see that, okay, this is what I'm doing in life. Would you help me do something better? Right? Have better habits, have a better lifestyle, uh, maybe polish my brain to achieve greater goals, right? So
Mhm.
therapists, psychologists are not existing just for your crisis. That's a
Okay.
misconception, right? You should
Oh.
not recommend a friend that, okay, you know what, you should talk to a psychologist because you're going through a breakup. No. To maintain a healthy
Okay.
relationship, also, you should consult a psychologist. You should learn, because these are two different, drastically, coming from drastically different background, environment, people coming together and leading a life together. So they might need some help and support. Nothing wrong in that.
Nice. Nice.
So I
Even
think
I
that's
had the impression, right, कि जब खराब हो जाता है सब कुछ, दुनिया बर्बाद हो जाती है, तब किसी के पास जाओ, ओके, साइकोलॉजिस्ट पास अप्रोच करो. दैट वाज द इम्प्रेशन, मूवीज में भी कुछ ऐसे ही दिखाते हैं, बट अभी थोड़ा क्लियर हो रहा है, राइट, आफ्टर टॉकिंग टू यू. Not just during crisis, no, even for some achieving something big, moving step ahead, right, in life, you can talk
or
to a
any
psychologist.
changes. So let's say, right, like let's talk about yoga. So you don't start yoga when you have a fracture, right? That's not
Yes,
the
yes,
right time. You build
yes.
your body, you build your mind. Same way, right? You work on your body when you have certain goals. ठीक है, I want to have this certain weight, I should have this certain lifestyle, I should have peace of mind, right? All of those things you work upon on a regular basis. Why not your
Yes.
mind? Right? Why do
Nice.
you think that it has to do everything on its own and magically one day you will wake up and, oh, voila, this is that? It cannot be like that.
Okay. Just a bone like separate digression, right? कि movies में जो दिखाते हैं, are they somewhat like it's a wrong impression what movies put on your mind, और जो actual में होता है वो अलग होता है, ऐसा कुछ है क्या?
See, it depends basically what movie you are referring to, because बहुत सारी movie में बहुत सारे
Okay.
misconceptions हो सकते हैं, because it's just a 3 hour reel, है ना? आप एक प्रोफेशनल हिस्ट्री को 3 घंटे की मूवी में नहीं डाल सकते,
Okay.
राइट?
Yes.
देयर विल बी मिसकॉन्सेप्शंस, क्योंकि वो उतना डीप स्टडी करते भी नहीं. जब इमेजिन जब वो फौजियों के बारे में, सो मेनी थिंग्स विच आर सो मच ऑफ प्राइड फॉर अस दैट कैन गो रॉन्ग. बैजेस गलत होते हैं, यूनिफॉर्म्स गलत होती हैं,
Yes. Yes.
राइट, रेफरेंसेस गलत होते हैं, सो दिस कैन गो रॉन्ग एनीवेयर. सो मीडिया इज जस्ट फॉर एंटरटेनमेंट. वी नीड टू लर्न दैट इट्स जस्ट एंटरटेनमेंट.
Okay.
हो सकता है कुछ फैक्ट्स हो उसमें, कुछ सच्चाई हो, but like I
Okay.
said, you cannot depend on this source to be real. You need to consult a real person and understand कि ठीक है इसमें कितनी सच्चाई है. How much, if you have seen a movie, and I would love for anybody to write to me and say, hey Anupama, you know what, This was the reference. Do you believe that? And I can challenge it, whether it's true, it's not, and why not? But just don't consume everything which's been fed to you. ठीक है?
Okay.
मैंने तो जितनी सारी मूवीज देखी हैं, to be honest, lot of psychologists are psycho killers and they turn out something
Okay.
else only.
Yes, yes,
And
that happens.
one of my favorite example is Harley Quinn. If you follow,
Yes, I see that.
super, so she's a psychiatrist by profession.
Oh,
And because of the
okay.
torture that Joker does to her, she becomes Harley Quinn,
Oh,
right?
yes, yes, yes. Yeah, that's like,
So, so we see a lot of references in movie, of course, right? But all of those, see a lot of superheroes and supervillains, if you talk about, one of my favorite reference to give you, are actually going through mental illnesses.
okay.
And you'll go back and see Marvels now, you'll have a different perception. Okay? A lot of them
Same
are
for
going to
Batman.
therapy. Exactly, they're going for
Yes.
therapy, right?
Okay.
And they're trying to regulate emotion. So we need to understand, see, humans are made in both balances. Okay, there will
Okay.
be negative, there will be positive. Some days you might feel like killing somebody. Doesn't make you a murderer. Okay,
Okay.
it's just that rage somebody brings out on you कि यार
Okay.
इतना दिमाग खराब कर दिया कि आज तो लग रहा है मैं कुछ कर जाऊं. But your
Okay.
consciousness that's not letting you act on it, right?
Okay.
So we need to work on emotional regulation on a regular basis. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why people are so fascinated with the idea of superheroes and supervillains because they are doing the things we can't, right? They are
Yes,
living the
yes.
lives we can't. That's why we really love all of these fancy world and all kind of entertainment which has been served to us. But we need to know that it's not realistic. They have to put all sort of masala to sell.
वो actually it was like कुछ अलग बताया मुझे कि every superhero somewhere connected to psychiatrists and psychologists, right? That was something because I am a very big follower of watching Marvels and DC movies, so I could connect. Joker ka bhi, latest movie, he was consistently talking to a psychologist for some therapy purpose. So yeah,
Yeah.
I could imagine all those images in my mind. Nice, nice. So
Yep.
yeah, that's a good connection from Vedic to Marvel movies. That's
Yeah.
nice. Okay, let's move to the next question.
Sure.
So yeah, which age group do you think is facing this issue the most as per the whatever you have consulted so far, the people, and what part of life is it, the relationship part or the office part? You can just tell statistically like कि इसमें ऑफिस वाले लोग ज्यादा दिख रहे हैं या फिर रिलेशनशिप वाले लोग ज्यादा दिख रहे हैं, like can just tell as per your experience over here.
See, I would say the statics will lie here. Okay. अगर आप Google करेंगे, you'll find the statistics. Okay. So I will
Okay.
say that okay, teenagers usually go through a lot of life transitions and that is true. I'm not denying the fact that reportedly it's true that teenagers go through a lot of life changes,
Okay.
which is difficult. Right? One day your mom is telling you, hey, you're a big boy now. Okay, act
Okay.
like one. The other day she's hitting you like anything.
Okay.
And the other chota bacha of the house again. So it could be very confusing. Okay, you're in the developmental phase, you're learning about the world, you're getting exposed to the world for the first time. And the phase where we are actually going to our college life. That's the time when we have least supervisions, right? We don't run back to our parents as much, and that's the time when we actually get our own experience, hands-on experience with the world, right? First time we see rejections, cruelties, and I think
Mhm.
around 11, 12, all of us had those crush years when we thought, oh, she's the one, he's the one kind of thing, and we had our hearts broken for the first time. So all those are, but those are developmental years, and if your parents and your family is putting the right amount of efforts, you will sail through it smooth, right? But I think what my personal experiences have been, men's mental health need more advocacy, need more support, because
Okay.
culturally also, and globally, if you see, men has this innate need to provide. Okay,
Yeah.
I bet you drive, right? I also do.
Okay.
A lot of people do. Let's assume a lot of
Yes.
men start driving in a certain age because they feel that it's required. I might be
Yes.
needed to take somebody to the hospital, take care of this thing and that thing, and so they do. Most of my brothers and men in my life, I know they drive very well, right? I started driving late because I did not
Okay.
feel like there was a need. There was always somebody to take me places.
Yes.
Okay. So what happens is we have made our men in such a way that they take a lot of pressure to fix everybody and everything around. So their mental health is at stake the most. The most. You see the doctors' suicide rate. Most of the
Okay.
doctors who commit suicide in their MDs or under pressure are male. Okay, the rate of suicide rates for male and harassment, in fact, is higher compared to the female. Females get reported more, but in reality, male are actually on verge of mental health crisis, especially from their 25 year of age to 32, 33 kind of age when they're establishing, when they're building life, they have to buy a house, they have to provide for the family, they have to establish their career. All of that is on them, right?
Okay.
And to smoothen each and everybody's experience of life is also on them, you know.
Yes. Yes.
Because you need to take care of your elderly parents, right? You have to be there for them, you have to go to the office, you have to hear your bosses, you have to make a stable financial grounds for your family to, establish on. So just imagine the tremendous amount of
Yes.
pressure, and nobody's asking you how are you doing? Are you okay? Do you want me to share some pressure? Nobody, because it's assumed that it's a man's job, right? We should be able to
Okay.
do that. Why is it a big deal? If you
Yes.
don't have a house today, and tomorrow somebody will say you didn't buy a house. If I don't have a house, nobody's even bothered and asking. Why is that? You're putting whole responsibility on just basis of their gender because you have assumed that they're built for it. It's not like that. They're as human as we are. They're as vulnerable to anything as we are, right?
Yes.
And they need as much support. And that's why we see a rise in alcoholism and all of that. And
Oh,
it's very easy to put
yes.
label and say, ki, what, that man drinks and does this and does that. But did you go and ask him that why did he needed to go there? क्यों? अगर आपके घर में शांति है, आप आराम से जी रहे हैं, सुकून में जिंदगी जा रही है, तो आपको कभी भी जरूरत लगेगी कि यार आज फ्रेंड्स को बुला लेता हूँ. मतलब नहीं, आपको जरूरत तब लगती है चार दोस्तों के साथ बैठने की जब आपको पता है कि घर में वो सुकून नहीं है, वो सिक्योरिटी नहीं है, वह यू कैन एक्सप्रेस योरसेल्फ, जहां जाके बोल सको कि यार पता है आज सही नहीं जा रहा है, नॉट फीलिंग गुड, आई वांट टू टेक अ ब्रेक. हाउ मेनी मेन आर एक्चुअली टेकिंग ब्रेक? आई वंडर कितने लोग वेकेशन पे जा रहे हैं, है ना.
Yeah, that's quite correct.
बैचलर्स के लिए तो इट्स ओके, ठीक है, दे विल गो बैक पैकिंग, सोलो ट्रिप्स एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट. But how many men are taking break from their regular life and say कि okay ठीक है, मुझे भी तो चाहिए है ना रिजुविनेशन, मेरा भी हक है कि मैं जाऊं रिलैक्स करूं. So men are more at verge of mental health crisis. They have much more frequency of mental breakdowns, because nobody is going and asking them how are you holding up. Do you need more support? Shall I step in?
Yes. Quite correct. Yeah, I totally agree with all those points, right? So yeah, कुछ लोग देखते हैं कि बुरी आदत लग गई किसी को, but nobody is going to ask them, right? कि start क्यों हुआ, क्यों कर रहे हो ऐसा, right? That's quite a
Exactly.
yes, quite a good
Judgments are
point you made
easy.
here. Yeah.
To point a finger at somebody and say, hey, you know what, you're doing this wrong. But did you
Yes.
try and understand why? Nobody is willing to ruin their life, I think.
Yes, you are actually absolutely right about this. Men के बारे में लोग औरतों के बारे में सोचते हैं because definitely they are taking over a lot of responsibilities on their shoulders, but you should think about men as well, right? There are a lot of societal pressure on their shoulders, so one
And
should
I think,
definitely yes.
the thing is, Prashant, that women need to learn this more. That you need to support your men. You need to ask them questions. You need to be their friends. and not judge them and say कि hey, हो सकता है if you are a brother to somebody and you're a friend to somebody, I would really want that person to come to you and say कि did you take a break? Are you you know are you keeping yourself healthy? When was the last time you watched a movie? You did something you love, right? Did somebody take you on a date? Why nobody's spending on you? Why nobody's willing to spoil you? Right? It's
That's
as
awesome. Yes.
if everybody's responsibility, right? If
Yes. Yes.
I want to be pampered, it's nice that girls get all the pampering and all of that. Nice, it's sweet. That maybe women are considered more fragile, but if you see the changing trend, women are more bold,
Mhm.
more independent these days, and I think now the men needs to get spoiled. I would say if anybody is watching this, please go home and spoil your men, buy them chocolates, do good things for them, make them feel they're as important and valuable, appreciated, right?
Okay. I hope my wife is listening to it.
Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah.
Okay. She's also live, possibly. Okay. Fine. That was good. Good answer to the question. Okay. We'll move to the next question, right? Okay. So moving to the serious part. Okay. So when do you think the overthinking is actually moving to depression phase? So yes, like let's talk about little bit about symptoms part over here, and then we'll move to the next question. Okay, where we move into like the steps to avoid it. But before that, like the symptoms from overthinking to depression phase.
Yeah. So see, what we need to understand before we see the symptoms is what are the causes. So a lot of people have this perception that you will only fall in depression if you have a life incident, right?
Okay.
Death of loved one, divorce, breakups, losing a job, maybe, right? Which is not true. Sometimes it could also be purely biological and chemical. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So that could also happen because all of us, men, women, everybody, every human being is actually going through a lot of hormonal changes throughout their life, right? So the chemistry in our brain might keep changing. Okay, and if so, it just understand this as a engineer, if you may. Okay, and there is a whole socket which works, right? Your brain is also a beautiful wiring, right?
Yeah.
It's being built in a beautiful way. Everything's fuzzy. In fact, if you see the picture of neurons, you'll see that they spark and send signal to each other, right? So it's a beautiful working. But if something goes wrong and this it's a misfire, right? That
Okay.
will be a fuse. So it could be triggered by any of the incidences. It could also be triggered chemically, right? Not necessary that you have to wait for a life incident to happen and check yourself for symptoms of depression. Like I said, your mental health should be on a regular check, right? So
Okay.
when overthinking, like I said, if it's for a day or two and it is relevant to some incidents, तो ठीक है, आज किसी दोस्त ने कुछ कह दिया तो मैं बैठ के सोच रहा हूँ इस बारे में, right? If somebody has started acting differently, तो मैं सोच रहा हूँ इस बारे में. And even after taking an action, right? So if you have said something to me and I'm coming to you and trying to, understand, hey, you said this to me that way, and I'm still not able to make a concrete answer to that, right? Then I'm overthinking constantly, right? कि अभी आपने मुझे clearly बता दिया कि नहीं मेरा ये मतलब नहीं था वो मतलब था. Maybe you have misinterpreted me. I'm sorry about it. Done and dusted. But
Mhm.
still I'm going back home and thinking कि नहीं यार maybe he's manipulating me. मुझे कुछ तो है, there is something fishy. Then that's constant overthinking. Now, if this constant overthinking is sustaining for a period of 2 weeks, okay,
Okay.
for most of my day. So now, when I'm saying most of my day, that will be like for 24 hours, if say 8 to 10 hours I'm sleeping, by the time I'm working, I'm doing anything, I'm interacting with somebody, there is a constant buzz in my head, right? Then that is moving to the depressive state. If it is
Okay.
moving to the depressive state, you will also have other symptoms. Like I said, when you will wake up in the morning, you might feel lethargy, fatigue, right?
Okay.
Weight changes will be there. Very
Okay.
observable thing is, you can observe very easily is weight changes up to 5% more or less. So you can also, so like individual difference also plays a huge role here, right? So some people may gain weight, some people may lose weight. Your
Okay.
appetite will have drastic changes. You may feel like eating a lot or not eating at all. Okay. And this is all happening without any physical illness. You need to keep in mind that as well, right? ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको साथ में कोई बीमारी भी हो रखी है and then you are seeing then that will overlap, right? So that is happening. Insomnia or hypersomnia. A lot of people only focus on insomnia कि नींद नहीं आ रही है, बहुत देर हम सो
Okay.
नहीं पाते हैं, सो नहीं पाते हैं. Lot of students have hypersomnia. Exam times में you see people will sleep a lot. Okay.
Okay.
So इंडिविजुअल डिफरेंस. जरूरी नहीं है कि एक बंदा जो बहुत ज्यादा सो रहा है उसको हाइपोसोमनिया ही हो, बट द फ्रीक्वेंसी वी नीड टू चेक विथ मोस्ट ऑफ द डेज, स्पेशली ऑन सर्टेन इवेंट्स की. हाँ ठीक है, कभी कभी यू विल ऑब्जर्व सम पीपल जब उनके घर में कोई पर्टिकुलर गेस्ट है, ओके, दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर द पेरेंट्स टू नोटिस, दे विल स्लीप अ लॉट फॉर नो रीजन,
Okay.
राइट?
Yes. Yes.
Because they want to avoid that person. They cannot
Okay.
stand that person. That person might be stressful. हो सकता है, there are certain people in life, which challenge you unnecessarily, which triggers the wrong emotions, and that is okay, right? So parents needs to be very mindful if, especially during examination time, your child is not sleeping at all or sleeping for long hours. ठीक है, सुबह सो के उठे, ब्रेकफास्ट किया, फिर सो गए, घंटों तक सो गए. So that's not good, right? Other than that, agitations, irritation, sadness can be defined in different ways. Sadness is one symptom, for sure we need to look into. For adults, sadness could also look like frustration and anger.
Okay.
Okay. बहुत सारे जब हम एक स्टेज क्रॉस कर जाते हैं तो जरूरी नहीं होता है कि हम दुखी ही नजर आए, हम नाराज नजर आ सकते हैं, हम इरिटेटेड नजर आ सकते हैं. तो वही चीज जो कल हमारे साथ हो रही थी, हम उसको बेटर रिस्पॉन्ड कर पा रहे थे, इमोशनल रेगुलेशन हमारा बेटर था, राइट? अब वही छोटी सी चीज ट्रिगर कर जाती है, राइट? जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल, वेरी स्कूल टाइम एग्जाम्पल, आज स्कूल में आपका एक टेस्ट, बहुत ही सरप्राइज टेस्ट बहुत गंदा गया है, ठीक है, टीचर हैज ह्यूमिलिएटेड यू, यू आर नॉट इन अ गुड मूड, राइट? First thing, you'll come home and is shout at your mother. No matter whatever she's cooking, आज पहली चीज यही होगी कि यार ये क्यों बना दिया खाने में, मुझे नहीं आनी. वो बेचारी कुछ भी कर ले अब आपके लिए, है ना, क्योंकि आप कहीं ना कहीं से उसको ले, यू आर कैरिंग दैट, राइट? सो दैट फ्रस्ट्रेशन विल ट्रांसलेट. अब आप तो दुखी हो, एक्चुअल में तो यू आर अपसेट, राइट? सो अडल्ट्स डू दिस अ लॉट कि ऑफिस में कुछ हो गया, फिर घर आके हम चिड़चिड़े हो जाएंगे, हमको लगेगा कि दुनिया में क्या चल रहा है, सब मेरे कंट्रोल में क्यों नहीं है कुछ भी, राइट? फीलिंग ऑफ दैट एजिटेशन, दैट फ्रस्ट्रेशन, दैट एंगर, willingness to break things. So
Okay.
acting upon is different. You may not act upon it, but willingness, and that should be observer. अगर आपके आसपास के लोग उसको ऑब्जर्व कर पा रहे हैं, then you need to be mindful of that, right?
Okay.
Sadness could also look like tearing. कभी कभी आपने देखा होगा कि हमारे आसपास लोग जरूर कह रहे होते हैं कि नहीं नहीं सब ठीक है, but their eyes are teary, right? Constant tears in your eyes. So if it's a depressive mood, you'll probably find that, right? So we are decoding all the symptoms. Now there has to be 4 or more symptoms to put you in the category of depression, right? So again, that's what I'm saying. Clinician will only be the person to put that in the right space. But we are just trying to understand what are the things. Feeling of worthlessness, है ना? अचानक से ऐसे फील होना कि what am I contributing? What am I doing in life? मैं बढ़ क्यों नहीं रहा हूँ, मैं कुछ कर क्यों नहीं रहा? And I think that's a very common generic statement these days. अक्सर आपने भी लोगों से इंटरेक्शन में सुना हो कि लोग कहते हैं यार कुछ बड़ा करना है, you know?
Yeah.
मतलब न्यूक्लियर बम ही फोड़ोगे जब फोड़ोगे, तो ऐसा क्यों? Why do you want to do that, right?
Yeah.
Feeling of worthlessness increases with that, क्योंकि हमको constantly ये feed किया जा रहा है कि greatness
Yes.
is important, lead the world. सारे वर्ल्ड लीडर बन जाएंगे तो फॉलो कौन करेगा?
Yes.
How is that even possible, right? So it's been fed to us so much कि हम बहुत easily worthless feel कर रहे हैं, right? If I have not achieved certain milestone in life, is it worthless? We start questioning that. So if that is constant, if you're having guilt कि यार मैंने मेरा life के साथ कुछ सही नहीं किया अब तक, you know, or guilt of doing something wrong, hurting somebody, any kind of guilt, right? Then that's also one sign. And most important sign, which a lot of people are afraid to talk about, right, is the feeling or, having that thought of suicidal ideation,
Okay.
attempts, self-harm, right? All of that could also be infection, right? So we don't talk about it openly, but I would highly recommend. There is no escape to it, right? Highly recommend. If you have seen any signs in any one of your closed ones, please go and ask them if they have suicidal thoughts.
Okay.
There's no other way, right?
Okay.
If they are using dialogues like "I feel I'm worthless," right? If they feel, if they are saying dialogues like "I don't know what am I living for,"
Oh.
or yeah, things like that, right? कि ठीक है क्या फर्क पड़ता है जी तो रहे हैं, right? Certain statements like that, you know,
Yes.
are ठीक है, people may have recurring suicidal thoughts, they might not be acting on it, but it could be persistent in their life. So you need to check how these people are talking, right?
Okay.
If a friend is calling you and saying certain negative statement repeatedly,
Okay.
they have no perception of future, right? कि आपने उनसे पूछा कि और फिर क्या प्लान है आगे का, क्या करने का सोचा है? कुछ नहीं यार, क्यों सोचना है आगे का? It's not worth it. Then that's your red flag. You need to stop right there and check with that person. Why would you say that?
Okay.
Is something bothering you? So when you're communicating with people you have to be mindful of what dialogues they're using. अगर at
Okay.
any point in time वो आपसे ये कह रहे हैं कि मुझे जिंदगी का मतलब नहीं समझ में आ रहा है ना, मुझे नहीं पता
Yes.
कि क्यों जीते हैं लोग आगे, क्यों सपने देखने चाहिए, all of those dialogues are leading to something. So you need to keep a check, and you have to be very upfront yet polite and keep it a safe place. Always remember, if you're asking somebody or revealing to somebody, it's a safe place. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि कोई आपको ट्रस्ट में आके कोई चीज बता रहा है और आप उसका ढिंडोरा पीट जाते हैं कि you know what, he's suicidal, he said that. Should never be like that.
Oh, yes, yes, that should be taken care of.
You
So
know?
yeah, that was quite a good, answer towards like this question. I was really like connected. Okay, काफी कुछ समझ में आया मुझे भी. And उससे ही connected एक second last question पूछते हैं. Like slowly हमने काफी questions cover कर लिया. Okay, and moving to the next question. Okay, so what do you think? At what point of time should one consult a psychologist or psychiatrist? Okay, and when they are thinking like कि कोई लोग मुझे बता रहा है, कोई बता रहा है कि you should I think consult. Okay, so what point of time should be like कुछ लोगों के पास जरूरी नहीं है कि family doctor हो. Okay, एक बार जैसे as you said right कि
Yeah.
people sometimes just say कि तुझे देखना चाहिए to a psychologist and all. So and also like if somebody actually approaches a psychologist, so psychologists केवल क्या mental therapy ही बताते हैं or do they give also some kind of medications or exercise? Yeah.
So first thing first, no psychologist will ever prescribe medication. Psychiatrists,
Okay.
MD doctors can always prescribe medication, right? So अगर कोई भी आपको आयुर्वेदिक ही दे रहा है, कुछ भी,
Oh.
never take that, right?
Okay.
Because there's a huge difference. Psychologists are not allowed, permitted, right, to prescribe or give any medication. Okay.
Oh.
Lifestyle changes we can recommend. ठीक है, अगर मुझे लगता है कि आपको ये पर्टिकुलर फूड आइटम खाना चाहिए, नहीं खाना चाहिए, all of that is a different. But medication is not any psychologist voted, not allowed, right? तो कोई कभी भी कर रहा है तो please go and report them, right?
Okay.
That's very dangerous. Only MD psychiatrists are allowed to prescribe mental health medications.
Okay.
So the thing you need to keep in mind is, one, like I said, there is no prescribed time when you should see a psychologist. As soon as you find anything, जब ये
Mm-hmm.
दिमाग में आ गया है कि साइकोलॉजिस्ट से मिलना चाहिए क्या, is your sign, go and see.
Okay.
राइट, चाहे आपके दिमाग में आ गया है या आपके आसपास के लोगों के दिमाग में आ गया है, बिकॉज देयर इज समथिंग व्हिच दे हैव बीन ऑब्जर्विंग और दे आर एबल टू ऑब्जर्व, दैट मीन्स यू नीड हेल्प, राइट? Before you become your doctor, it's always advised, it's good to take a session, right? See them once and see if you are able to do it on your own, nothing like it, why not, right?
Mm-hmm.
But make sure that you're taking the right decision. So don't become your superheroes and say कि यार नहीं यार. I see a lot of friends, you said it's wonderful if people will go and advise to please see a therapist or see a professional, right? It's wonderful. A lot of people also say कि यार छोड़ना चला, आज रात को बैठते हैं. यार why are you crying? Come on, this will pass. No, even if it pass, it has an impact. No, we need to work on
Yes.
that impact, and you don't know how much of an impact anything has on anybody's mind, right? किसी को ऐसा होता है कि मैथ्स के टीचर ने एक थप्पड़ मारा और वो बंदा होता है हाँ ठीक है यार कोई नहीं चल ठीक है. I have seen students who were not able to take up the subject ever again in life.
Oh.
Right? So how much impressionable a person is, you can't say. Right? So it's always good to get a quick check. ठीक है, this is what's happening, this is what I would like to understand. If you feel coming after that session that you're confident enough to deal with it on your own, please go ahead and do it. But ask for the tools, right? अगर आपको छोटा सा भी प्रॉब्लम है, so you need some tools to work on it. क्योंकि आपके पास वो टूल्स ऑलरेडी अवेलेबल नहीं है ना. जैसे हम ऐसा तो हम योगा है या कोई भी प्रैक्टिस है हम टीवी पर देखते हैं, राइट? बट जो सपोज अगर आपको ऑलरेडी कोई एलिमेंट हो रखा है, कोई डिसलोकेशन हो रखा है, कोई माइनर फ्रैक्चर हो रखा है, आप शायद वो नहीं कर सकते. इट्स नॉट फॉर यू, क्योंकि जेनेरिक चीजें हैं ना, यू कैन फॉलो द जेनेरिक थिंग. यू विल हैव टू गो टू एन एक्सपर्ट एंड आस्क कि व्हाट डू यू थिंक इज मोर सूटेबल फॉर मी, what kind of exercise will work best for me. Similarly, you have to go to a mental health professional and ask, see, this is my problem statement, this is what I want to work on, what do you suggest? Do you think I should stay in therapy to reach this certain goal, right? Do you think there are some self-help books or tools which I can use, right? Most of the therapists will give you the tools immediately. If it's not a severe thing, not a major thing, they'll give you immediately, these are the things you can follow, these are the life changes you can make, and that should lead you in a good position. If it does not make an impact in 10 days or 15, then you might give it a thought to come back and maybe do a professional session, and then we can work upon it. Right? So, it's the intensity.
Correct, quite correct. Yeah, actually the medication thing, right? I thought कि medication मिलता है, but you made a correction. Like MD people are the only ones who are actually authorized to do so. So that was quite informative for me. I hope जो भी देख रहा है उसके लिए भी informative होगा. Okay, moving to the last question. So as you said, right, regulated emotions, कुछ self control भी कुछ होना चाहिए. So what do you think daily in a daily practice, right, one should follow, like how to get into an avoid getting into overthinking phase or depression phase. So what are the daily practices one should follow?
See, I think we should go to the basics to start.
Okay.
Right. And instead of following 10,000 things, you should just make sure you're taking care of your mind, body, and spirit. Okay. I personally believe in holistic health. So I would never say कि सिर्फ mind control कर दो, life में सब control है. No. You need to put an investment on all three of your assets. Right. Your spirit should be taken care of, which means your emotional well-being. Right. Your mental well-being. And then your physical. Right? So, on a regular basis, you need to disconnect. First, it's very important for each and everybody to disconnect. First,
Hello, Anupama. Yeah, I definitely agree as a limitation. So,
It's
okay, fine. We'll complete the last question, right? And
right.
yeah, that was very important actually. So, the steps one should take care of before actually moving to overthinking or depression state. So, yeah, we can continue.
So yeah, like we were discussing. So basically, we need to go to our basics, right? We need to understand that we need to disconnect. Like as much importance we have given to connecting with people and building everything, we also need to go back and understand what are the requirements of your healthy body, mind, and your spirit, right? So all these three things need to be in sync, right, for us to function at our best, to be at peace with ourselves, right? And that's the most important thing. So when you have your mind sorted, you will have everything sorted, right? You will know where you're leading to, where you want to reach, right? And when to take breaks as well, right?
Yes.
So I personally do not appreciate the culture of hustle as such. You should hustle,
Okay.
no doubt about that. But while you're doing that, you also need to polish your body, mind, and spirit as much to be in sync with you. It cannot be that you're having 10 hours working straight, you're not eating anything, you're not taking breaks, you're not
Mhm.
exercising. That way you will not be able to sustain, right? So on a regular basis, you need to keep certain checks for yourself. You're sitting with yourself, right?
Mhm.
So since the beginning, we have been talking about individual difference. Now, how do we know about that individual difference? Until and unless you sit with yourself. So there are multiple ways. You can journalize, right? You can meditate. You can sit and understand the rhythm of your body. What does it require, right?
Mhm.
You can focus on your goals. So I think there's a very beautiful ratio of 20-20-20, which Robin Sharma has given in his 5 a.m.
Okay.
club, right? So that book says about when you wake up, you invest on your health first. You take 20 minutes time to work on your health, then on your personal growth, and then on your professional growth, right? So you can follow any ratio. See, there is no one right formula, Prashant, as such. Everybody needs to
Mhm.
understand that. Okay, there is no one right formula. For
Mhm.
me, 10 minutes of brisk walk would be enough. For some other person, 20 minutes is also not enough because, like we said, there are multiple factors which are affecting you, right? So we need to keep everything in account. For that, you need to spend time with yourself, right? Sit with yourself. Start your day with yourself. Don't get obsessed with news, channels, TV, phones, nothing. Just be
Yes.
mindful, right? Best is if you have a park, if you have a garden, take a brisk walk, right? Relax your senses so that it is ready for the day, right? And then you can think clearly that, okay, these are the things I need to conquer in a day, right? How do I prioritize each and everything? How do I place everything in sync? Have family time, right? Connect with people. Don't rush to your work without saying goodbyes, right?
Okay. Yes.
Never do that. I know a lot of people have that habit. Everybody will pack their lunch and make their breakfast and say, oh, our times don't match. Don't do that, right? These are the people you're ultimately working for, right? So make it a point that when your spouse is leaving the home, you speak to them, you wish them well, right? So that, if that, just imagine if that's the first thing you have seen in the day, that bright face, that happiness, that joy for you, they're your best cheerleaders, right? You will have that energy throughout the day, right? So, like I said, men's mental health is so, so important. Support your men. Tell them that, if they're going to work, you appreciate it. You cherish their goals. When you come back home, make sure to ask about people genuinely how your day was. I just don't want to hear the good things. Tell me the bad things. Tell me that your boss is not as good. And tell me about your dreams, your goals. Let's build things together, right? If you need that emotional support today, I have to upgrade my game that day. And for that, I need to know. I need to speak to you, right? So make sure that throughout the day you have those times when you're connecting with people who matter, who impact your life, right? So start with yourself. Start with within, what do you want, how you want it to be, frame things for yourself. And there is no 100% guarantee that it's going to be like that. But even if you get 20-30% of control, you will be at much peace, right? You will know how to navigate from here, right? So when you do that, you can start with journaling. You can have your human best friend diary, right? If that's there, nothing like it. Go and talk to them. Create that safe place in your home. It's always very, very important that you have a safe place at home to express yourself, right?
Oh,
When you
okay.
come back home, it should never be like, oh, I can't tell my mom this. No, your parents, your family, your spouses should be the first one to know when this thought crosses your mind. If I'm having a rough day, if I've made a mistake, this is what families are for, right? To support each other, to be there for each other. If I become your biggest critic, you'll never ever speak to me again. And what will happen? You will disclose your secrets to people who will use it against you. So it should never be that, you're against your spouse, your girlfriend, anybody. You should be heading in one direction. So be a healthy critic also. From time to time, we need that. If you are going in a wrong way, we need somebody to know that, okay, I need a push. I am lacking in certain things. I need you to cover for me, right? So I think it's a misconception when people say family life is 50-50. Okay, it's not 50-50. It's 100-100. Both of you will have to put your 100% to make sure that each and everybody who is in line with you is also getting the 100%. Right. They have the 100% confidence, trust. They should know that, when you're going through a health crisis, when you're going through financial crisis, they should be the first one to be there for you. So that you feel like going home. You should have that feeling, right? That, I want to rush home and tell this to my partner, to my parents, to my spouse. I want to talk about this to my children. I've learned something new. How fascinating it is to, go and tell my child that, oh, you know what? I have something interesting to tell you. So that he turns on the TV and says, oh yeah, please tell me about it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's what we should focus on building rather than saying, hey, you know what, I heard something on Instagram, let me forward you that reel. No, don't do that. Right? Having 300, 400 people on your followers might look nice, but you should always know those 5 people in life who will be there for you no matter what. Right.
I'm going to put this in the status, right? Having 300 followers, right? Doesn't matter. Having 5 people in your life is what matters the most. Yes.
Of course, because they are genuinely getting impacted, right? They are the ones who are actually getting something out of it. And if 300, 400 people are listening and not acting upon it, then it does not matter, right? But small change is much more impactful if it's real, right? So you need to start making impact from the house and maybe move forward and, create greater impacts. Why not? Dream big. That's good. But while you're dreaming big, don't forget the realities of life, the uncertainties of life. Don't forget to live your life, at today's pace. Don't forget to tell people how much you care about them, how much you love them. Right? Don't depend on Instagram or any other social media to teach you how to love. Know your own love languages. Let your partner know your love languages. Let your family know your love language. Right? So for some people, like very quickly I'll tell you. So for some people, there are basically 5 love languages. Some people are good with communication. Okay, if I tell them, they'll be happy to hear it. Right? Some people would like it if I do a small gesture for them, materialistic or maybe thoughtful gesture, right? Like sending them a gift, or if I know you're working late today, I will just send you your favorite cookies. So that will just give you a thought that I'm thinking about you. I appreciate what you're doing, right? So taking care of each other, doing those small gestures, and for that you need to be present with people, right? You cannot know them through their Instagram handles. Nobody is going to know you through your Instagram, right? because we are not crying here. We are not talking about our failures. We don't talk what we hate, right? What are my fears? Nobody's talking about that. So don't rely on that. So if you want to build big, you know, start small and be rooted. The more rooted you are, high possibility you'll grow like anything, right? So focus on that, just your mind, body, and spirit. Three things. Formula can be different for everybody and anybody. Trial and error is the key. And if you need more help, try to connect with specialists. You have some wonderful apps also nowadays, wherein you can actually lock your phones for a certain time period and you can dedicate it for your art. Always dedicate your time to your art as well, whether you want to become Picasso or not. Aim for it, right?
Yes.
Lot of wonderful artists, lot of wonderful people are actually accidental success. Okay. So keep putting effort. Let things be out there and see how it works out. Right. Just don't set for the milestone. There's no end to it.
Yes. Yes.
So I think, yeah.
That was quite nice, Anupama. And I think lot of people have actually learned from the session. I've seen comments. Are you seeing the comments from your side?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I think
Very
this is
good.
my first live conversation with someone professional. Okay, because the last conversation I had just with my own self. Okay, very few people came up, so I just tried to see some people in my followers list, and I saw you the first, and there are more people to come. So the first session went really, really well, and I've seen people, I mean, putting good comments. So I'm literally, really feeling good about it. So yeah, I think this won't be just one session. Okay, ये
For
केवल
sure.
ऐसा नहीं एक session होगा. Future में, we can come up with some other topics. Like there are many topics. Like social media का effect क्या है? In fact,
Okay.
the growing technologies, the AI that is coming up.
Yeah.
You would be hearing from your clients कि ये technology आ गई है, इससे मुझे effect पड़ रहा है.
Yeah. Of
So
course.
you might ask me, अच्छा तुम chat GPT बहुत use कर रहे हो लगता है. Okay. So इनके
Yeah.
भी issues आने वाले. So we should be connected, and ऐसा हो सकता है कि हमें और session लेने पड़े. There would
Sure.
be people, people who are on Instagram are the ones who are seeking answers over these topics, right? So
Yeah.
yes, we can definitely connect over such topics in further live sessions. Okay, and this was like tremendously awesome session, my first session, and 7 questions थे. हमने almost cover किए 6 question first session में.
Yeah.
Last session 7 question, मतलब अच्छा हमने ये continue किया, right? I just wanted to end this on a very good note. So at the मतलब काफी अचानक से cut out हुआ, so वो अच्छे note पे end नहीं हो रहा था. Yeah. So I wanted to have some ending note over this to connect and further.
Thank
Okay.
you so much, Prashant,
Yeah.
for the initiative, for asking me. I think it's very great that people like you believe that we should come forward and speak about things which are important,
Yes.
which make sense to people, right? शायद आप initiative नहीं लेते तो मैं भी नहीं ले पाती. So it's a given. Like I am as grateful to you that you have asked me to do this, and for sure, I think it's very important, and I would love to anytime you tell me that this is something, or if I have an idea that we should do something
Yes.
about this, we'll definitely come up and do that, and I think that's very necessary for us, so we'll surely contribute to more.
Yes, sure. For example, और ये भी बताना चाहता हूँ कि ये जो चैनल है इसके बारे में नहीं, कि वैदिक लाइफस्टाइल, see there are a lot of parameters, so we can hear some parameters from some psychologists, some doctors, तो काफी लोग आते रहेंगे यहाँ पे, and we start first on the mental note, right? So because everything is from here, ये नहीं चल रहा तो nothing's gonna work, right?
When you say mental note, it almost makes me go back to all the superheroes and supervillains immediately.
That's true. Like Marvel connection, right? That was awesome. Everybody's connected to psychiatrist. Yeah, that was a good connection. Okay, अब मैं next movie में देखूंगा कहाँ पे psychiatrist दिख रहा है, कहाँ psychologist दिख रहा है, right?
I
So
bet.
after Joker,
And you won't be able to ignore anymore.
yes. See, Batman movie hai, he is connected. Joker is also connected. The Harley Quinn, like everybody is
I told you,
connected,
it's like
right?
Harley Quinn herself is a psychiatrist who's turned into the villain she is. And I wouldn't like to characterize her as a villain, to be honest. I'm a huge fan of how raw and realistic she is, And though she clearly has a disorder, I'm not denying that she has a disorder. But, I think all of us have that urge to live on edges. It's just that we are regulating ourselves not to do that.
Yes,
So
yes.
she's one person who's able to love to the extreme. And there's a very, my favorite clip. You guys should also watch it on YouTube. So there's a clip where she kills one of her boyfriends and says, "Rather fall for people with red flags." I don't know. I have such a bad taste in men. And then she kills her. That this is the only way to get over it. That I finished this.
Okay, I need to watch that. Okay.
you know. So I think all of us have that. All of us will have questions, will doubt ourselves, will fall, will learn, will have failures. Just learn to normalize it as a human being. Right. Tell
That's
yourself that we are human. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to pick up bad things, bad choices, make have failures. It's absolutely fine. But as long as we are moving forward, we are learning and we are making progress, that's what matters. Right? Nobody's story is going to be same. Never. Don't compare yourselves with other people. Don't try to, reach that level. Okay, oh, I want to be like this. No, be an original, and that should be enough, right?
okay. Yes.
And I think that will give you a tremendous peace of mind when you just imagine next day you wake up and you don't have that pressure of looking a certain way, speaking a certain way, doing things a certain way. You will be able to invest in yourself so much better, right? Because you're doing you. So I think my closing comment will be your own hero. Be whoever you want to be and learn to cherish each and every phase of yourself. Not just the good ones, but also the bad ones, because those are the actual ones which are shaping you into something you become, right? So be more compassionate to each and every person you meet, ask questions, and express your gratitude, your love to people who matter. Right? And like I said, men's mental health is as very, very important. I can't emphasize on it more, right? But you understand that, the men around you are going through so much responsibility, so much of inbuilt pressure, innate need to provide and doing the best they can. So be there for them, once in a while, take the bait from their hands and say, let me take over, right? Take care of things for them and let them also breathe, have vacations, spoil them as much as you can. And you will see the shift in the environment itself, right?
Yes.
So please do that and take care of yourself. Thank you so much, Prashant, for this wonderful, wonderful opportunity.
Yeah, awesome, awesome, and yeah, definitely we'll connect some for some other session
For sure.
in future. Okay, so we'll close this session, okay, and so I'll have further discussions on you with you on this thing, how to go ahead. Okay,
Yeah.
okay then. See you.
Thank
Okay,
you so much.
have a
Bye,
good day.
guys.
Bye bye.